Coming up on First at 5, citizens voiced their concern with ICE's oversight into local schools and universities.
Plus, a new bill would help better understand warning signs for students in distress. It aims to provide teachers with educational resources.
And a late season cold front is expected to pause the warming trend, bringing us some cooler and drier air. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5, from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
From K through 12 to higher education, ICE is expanding their enforcement in Florida schools. And the latest agreements are not sitting well with some parents, students, and teachers. Protests targeting Alachua County public schools are underway, and demonstrations have already started on the University of Florida campus.
It's all in connection to the recent agreements by school leaders to partner with ICE agents to carry out immigration enforcement. This is First at 5. I'm Bailey Korinek.
And I'm Eva Garcia. Their main concern is how local enforcement and ICE are interacting with minors and college students, many who are here to study legally. We have live team coverage of tonight's ACPS school board protest and UF's recent agreement with ICE to allow officers to question those that they suspect might be in the country illegally. We begin with WFT's Radesha Robinson live at the ACPS headquarters, where the protesters plan to share their issues with the district.
Right behind me, as you can see, there are many cars here outside ready to walk in the school for the meeting, ready to walk inside of the school district board meeting. They're calling on district leaders to create a stronger protection for immigrant students and a clear protocol when it comes to law enforcement entering school. Immigrant community members and allies with one united message: protect immigrant children in local schools. Ethan Maya Denny Dell helped rally the people.
In a state that prides itself on parental rights, we think that this is very wrong and has the potential to traumatize students dramatically.
The Gainesville Immigrant Neighbor Inclusion Initiative, or GINI, has concerns about potential interactions with law enforcement, immigrant officers, and students. Director of Communications for Alachua County Public Schools, Jackie Johnson, says the district has a clear stance.
We made it very clear that all students, regardless of their immigration status, are entitled to an education, and that we will not provide student records on a particular student without some sort of either parental consent or legal document.
Johnson says the district wants to ensure safety.
It also outlined what principals and assistant principals should do if there is a visit by law enforcement or ICE to a campus and they request to either interview or remove a student from the premises.
Some Florida school districts require judicial warrants and parental consent before removing students from class. The Alachua County School Board is giving the community the opportunity to voice their opinion. Live in Gainesville, Radesha Robinson, WUFT News.
In other school district news, ACPS and the Teachers Union negotiated a 1.3% raise. The president of the Alachua County Education Association says she's still disappointed, but the school board says this was the final offer. This comes after the union's request for a raise of 1.6% that was rejected in January.
As Florida universities have agreed to partner with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the legality behind it is still unclear. Our team coverage continues with WFT's Emilio Boutros live on the University of Florida campus to discuss what was behind the move.
It's been swift action from university officials like the ones here at UF who are giving power to ICE officials on college campuses. UF was among several state schools to sign an agreement with ICE late last week. ICE spent today finding more information about the agreement to see how that agreement will affect students and the role law enforcement will take.
The 287G agreement is a task force model which gives officers the authority to interrogate anyone believed to be an alien about the right to remain in the country, as well as make arrests without warrant. Florida universities are not the only ones to do this, as ICE has signed 456 agreements for the program in 38 states.
International students are being targeted and having their visas revoked based on participation in political protests.
This agreement comes at a time when immigration and deportation have become a hot-button issue in the U.S., especially in recent weeks. The State Department confirms they have revoked more than 500 visas for students and faculty.
We are not going to be importing activists into the United States. They're here to study. They're here to go to class. They're not here to lead activist movements.
The prospect of increased immigration enforcement could cause additional friction on campus. Last Wednesday, crowds gathered to protest the deportation of Felipe Zapata Velasquez, who was deported back to Colombia last week. I reached out to University of Florida police to determine the role in this ICE agreement. They responded in a statement that reads in part, "We can confirm we signed the 287 agreement. Beyond that, we have nothing to add."
We contacted legal teams to find more information about the legality behind this move. Once we receive that, we'll tell you guys on First at 5 and on WFT.org. Live from UF campus, Emilio Boutros, WFT News.
We will have a full recap of tonight's ACPS protest and meeting on WFT.org and tomorrow on WFT Midday.
The sun has come back to campus this week, and so has the warm weather. If we're lucky, the temperatures will be just like our Gator Boys and stay hot. WUFT's Matthew Clark joins us now with a look at your weather forecast.
Yeah, those temperatures are going to stay pretty warm, but the warming trend is going to pause as a part of this cold front that's bringing in some increasing cloud coverage to our area and a slight chance of a passing shower tonight. So the cloud coverage is going to increase a little bit as we head into the evening hours, and on your drive back from work, pretty late actually, around 9, we could have a passing shower as that cold front pushes through. But then after that, around very late, early morning hours, it's going to clear up quite nicely. We're going to take a look at that campus cam right here. Cloud coverage is starting to increase a little bit, some overhead clouds in the sky right now, but it's a beautiful afternoon right now. And then those temperatures are going to drop off into the 60s as we head into the overnight hours. We'll be tracking some more coming up in a few minutes.
One person died in an early morning house fire in Dunellen today. Marion County Fire Rescue responded shortly after midnight to a call about a single-story wooden home on fire in West McKinney Avenue. Firefighters tell us 2 people were able to escape the fire, and the fire was quickly brought under control. The cause is still under investigation. Another Marion County fire is also under investigation after a home in Summerfield, Marion County. Fire Rescue arrived on the scene and they say quickly contained the fire. The fire was reported by multiple neighbors claiming 4 dogs were trapped inside the home. Fire rescue teams were able to enter the house and rescue the dogs before the roof then collapsed. The homeowners later arrived and are now being assisted by the American Red Cross.
The Alachua County and Waldo City Commissions are holding a joint meeting this Thursday to discuss economic development and cleanup efforts. The meeting will take place at the Waldo City Square, where the commissioners will address plans for the Resource Center, Lake Alto to Little Lake Santa Fe Canal cleanup, and a new bike path development. The meeting starts at 6:30 and will happen at the Waldo City Square.
When we return, a new Florida bill is expected to better equip teachers to recognize human trafficking victims.
I spoke to 2 Florida State University law students who drafted the bill. Stick with us to learn more about the potential changes in Florida public schools.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and a new Florida bill could change the way we keep our kids safe in our public schools.
While Florida is a national leader in teaching students about human trafficking, lawmakers say it's time to require the same from teachers. Senate Bill 444 requires human trafficking training for all personnel at public schools, and local advocates say this increased vigilance is crucial.
So the sooner we can find these red flags, the sooner we can report it, the sooner we can stop it, the less trauma these children, our Florida children, are going to go through in the long run.
Tazara Wheelhammer and Lauren Evans are the authors of Senate Bill 444, a bill that requires public school personnel to be trained to identify potential victims of child sex trafficking. Florida was the first state in the nation to require training for students, but the duo says it's more common for states to mandate this training for teachers.
And we know that's kind of a huge gap in the law because we're expecting these teachers to train the students on something that they themselves aren't even trained on.
She says Florida is the self-proclaimed leader in human trafficking awareness. Still, it's time to double down.
It should be the norm in Florida because children are being trafficked here. And I know it's something people don't want to think about, but Florida is the 3rd largest hub for human trafficking in the country.
Here at the Child Advocacy Center, we served 63 children that were affected by child sex trafficking last year. And I mean, this is not a real big community. 63 kids is a lot of kids.
The president and CEO of the Child Advocacy Center in Gainesville affirms that these crimes are in our backyard.
But having the teachers trained in such a way that they can identify children who are at risk at trafficking. We'd love to work on preventing trafficking from happening in the first place.
She says prevention should be a priority.
Do I believe that we can prosecute our way out of human trafficking? No, I don't think so.
Evans and Wheelhammer's professor says teachers are first responders. He doesn't want to place bets, but says they're committed to getting this bill passed.
I don't gamble, but can it happen? Yes. If it doesn't happen, what will happen? We're going to be back next year. That's it. So this is too important.
Lauren and Tazara said California and Texas also mandate training for teachers. They also mentioned that just 1 hour of training can save a kid's life.
The late season cold front is going to bring us some cooler and drier air over the next couple of days. I'll have just the kind of temperatures you can expect after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
I don't know about y'all, but I feel like it's summer already. It was so hot walking here today.
I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a tan too. Is the heat going to continue for the rest of the week, or?
Yeah, I mean, this warming trend is going to pause for a little bit, then we are going to start to heat up as we head into the rest of the week. But there is a cold front on its way that is going to start to cool us down. We're feeling a little bit warmer today than we were this time yesterday because we're getting some winds, some pretty gusty winds, 23-mile-per-hour wind gusts from the south-southwest. So we're feeling a little bit more humid out there today, overlooking our campus cam, a little bit more clouds in the sky than we saw the past couple of days. It is 82 degrees here in Gainesville, 78 down in Ocala, 79 in the Villages. But these temperatures, they're feeling a little bit warmer than they're suggesting, even though we're in the upper 70s for most parts of our area. It's feeling a little bit warmer just because, again, those winds are coming from the south-southwest, so it's feeling a little bit more humid outside. So the rain, we could have some rain chance, about 10% chance of rain tonight as this cold front moves its way through. We're not going to feel the effects of the cold front quite tonight, but we are going to drop into the lower 60s, and we're going to be waking up in the upper 50s tomorrow. So I'm going to touch on this cold front for a little bit. It's bringing in some severe weather up to the northeast. It's only increasing cloud coverage for our area right now. I'm going to time out this cold front for you tonight. The cloud coverage is going to increase as we head into tonight as this cold front starts to make its way further down to the south. Could have a slight chance, about a 10% chance of a passing shower here in Gainesville. A little bit more stronger showers towards the east coast near St. Augustine before the winds start to shift from the north, and then that's when we're going to start to feel that cool down, and it's going to clear out pretty quickly tonight. It's also going to drop those dew points, so the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. These are near summertime dew points, 63 degrees tonight, and then as that cold front moves through, a noticeable change in those dew points. Once those winds start moving down from the north, that's when it's going to start to feel dry. So it's going to feel dry tomorrow morning. Then as you head into tomorrow afternoon, those dew points are going to be in the low 30s, like 27 degrees in Ocala. So waking up tomorrow morning, we're going to be in the lower 50s here in Gainesville, 45 in Live Oak. It's not going to be a humid morning. It's going to be a pretty dry morning. So it's going to be pretty chilly before we warm up into the 70s. So we were in the 80s today. We're going to be in the 70s tomorrow afternoon. So it's about a 25-degree temperature difference tomorrow from tomorrow morning to tomorrow afternoon. And then much of the same temperatures for your Thursday morning before we heat back up into the 80s by Thursday afternoon. That's about a 30-degree difference on our Thursday afternoon. So sweaters in the morning and then shirts and t-shirts in the afternoon. So about 10% chance, much muggier today, and then it drops, and it's going to feel refreshing before those dew points. That humidity starts to increase as we head into the weekend for your Easter weekend, and those temperatures are also going to increase. Easter Sunday, if you have anything outside this weekend, it's going to be pretty muggy outside. It's also going to be pretty warm, reaching just shy of 90 degrees before our next front moves through next Tuesday.
The deadline to file your taxes is today, with exceptions to 9 states, and Florida is one of them. The IRS expanded the date until May 1st to states who are affected by natural disasters in 2024. According to the IRS, other states like Alabama, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina were added to the list due to the impacts from Hurricane Helene. IRS officials say the extra time should help ease the burden on people affected by the hurricane. The automatic extension applies to a wide range of returns and payments, including individual, corporate, partnership, estate, and certain nonprofit filings.
Emergency responders around the country are celebrating Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Our dispatchers in Alachua County are taking the party to the next level. From banners in Mexico to statues in Greece, every inch of the Alachua County Dispatch Center is decorated for the celebration. The office throws a themed party every year to honor the work telecommunicators do for the community. The theme this year, International Fun. Lucy Pickett has worked in telecommunications for 25 years. She says she's been hooked on the job since day one.
I love to help people. If I can help one person, that is worth it.
If you need help, you can call or text 911 and a telecommunicator like Lucy will be there to help you. The Combined Communications Center is open 24/7 and will connect you to the right emergency response team.
Coming up in sports, women's golf took part in the SEC Championships in Bel Air earlier today. And Florida Gym is headed to the biggest stage in Fort Worth, seeking its 4th NCAA title. I'll tell you who they are taking on after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Alexis Tadros. We have another team in the running for a championship. Gymnastics is looking for its 4th NCAA team title, and the team held a send-off event outside the O-Dome earlier today. Florida is off to Fort Worth and will compete in Thursday's opening semifinal at 4:30. A top 2 team finish advances the Gators to Saturday's 4-team team final. Florida will face Alabama, Missouri, and Oklahoma. Head coach Jenny Rowland says they know it won't be easy.
We know it's not a guarantee. We know it's not a given. It's something we have to earn. So grateful that we earned the spot to go to Fort Worth and really excited.
The Lady Gators have advanced to the team final competition in 17 of their last 19 NCAA appearances. Heading to the mound, Gator baseball goes for a 5th straight win tonight as they take on Stetson in a midweek rematch. Coach Kevin O'Sullivan was happy to get some good pitching this weekend and says they're taking things slow.
Every game's important. And we told them at the end it's it's really one pitch at a time. We can't look ahead.
Florida swept Missouri this past weekend to secure their first SEC Series win of the season. Freshman Aiden King earning SEC Freshman of the Week as a result. The Gators won the previous match up against the Hatters back in February. Sticking with baseball, there are some notable high school playoff matchups this evening. Eastside vs. Santa Fe, Buchholz vs. Forest, Trenton vs. Dixie County, and Keystone Heights vs. Interlochen. Each of those teams looking to advance to their district title games on Thursday. Transitioning over to the lacrosse field, the number 4 Gators are also hosting Stetson this evening. This will be the Gators' first of 3 home games to finish the regular season. Florida's coming off a victory against Colorado on Saturday, which improved the team's record to 12-2. Stetson, however, is entering this matchup coming off a loss to Queens, which marks their 5th conference loss. Florida women's golf is sitting tied for 9th after 2 rounds of the SEC Championships in Bel Air. The team being led by Paula Francisco, who is top 5 on the individual leaderboard. She was 1 shot off the lead earlier in the day, but finished with a 1/71 to put her 5 shots back. And one final note, the Orlando Magic are playing the Atlanta Hawks in the play-in tournament tonight. The winner will face the Boston Celtics next. After the break, Matthew has one final look at the weather.
The warming trend is getting put on a brief pause as a cold front moves its way through tonight, only bringing about a 20% chance of rain, but dropping temperatures ever so slightly. The thing is with that though, is it's going to be much drier and it's going to be much nicer Thursday and Friday. Sunshine across the board, waking up in the upper 40s and in the 50s over the next couple of days before that warming trend picks right back up and shows no signs of stopping for your Easter weekend. Also, that humidity is going to start to increase as we head into the weekend as well. So any outdoor Saturday, Sunday, Easter weekend plans, it's going to be a hot one. It's going to be pretty muggy out there. And then 90s across the board into next week.
Thanks, Matthew. And speaking of Easter, those incoming freshmen need to ask for the $250 football student tickets in their Easter baskets because that is crazy. Just had to add that.
Well, at least you're senior, Bailey. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on WUFT.org and all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.